What's going on, people? We are back again with another video, and this one right here is all about 1,000 Pound Sisters' most recent episode. Now, in this episode in particular, well, a lot of things went down, but we're going to be focused on Amy and Tammy in this video, and then we'll be back again for another video where we focus on other aspects that also happened on the show as well. But with that being said, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and also, of course, I have to pull clips from the show, put it up in a little compilation. So some of it may be a bit here and there, and I do apologize in advance, but I gotta do what I gotta do to make sure that I bypass that copyright nonsense, if you dig what I'm saying. But let's get into it.
Amy, my bad. But I'm blind, so I can't see. You couldn't tell if that light pole was right there in front of me? No, I thought it was further. Don't! You gotta think about the brakes! Amy! Fudge! You can't cut through here! Okay. Now the character. I wanna leave, I wanna leave. That was stupid. Amy wasn't really paying attention, and I about flipped out my chair. You should know not to go through there. You're not being safe. Now you're about to start crying, as usual. I'm not crying. If I fall, it could be major surgery. And this is a disaster I don't need.
All right, boom, let's talk about it. I can understand Tammy's frustrations. Tammy's worked very, very hard to get to where she's at right now. And what she doesn't want is to get hurt and therefore have to restart the whole process, because she knows how hard it is, or how hard it's been for her whole life to even get to this stage. So of course she can't afford having Amy, accidentally jeopardize the situation. So I completely understand why she's obviously vexed with Amy. And also at the same time, Amy, we know that right now she's not in the best of mindsets. We know that she's going for a very hard time, with the divorces that's coming up, or has been pretty much in real time. And also, having to be a single mom now properly for the first time, knowing that Margaret isn't there anymore, but also at the same time knowing that the boys definitely feel their dad's absence in their life. So I can understand that, paying attention to certain things may be very, very hard because her mind's probably elsewhere. But at the same time, Amy definitely does need to be careful whenever she's pushing her sister Tammy, because you got to think of it this way: if she starts to make mistakes with Tammy, it makes you wonder if she'll ever make any mistakes with her own kids as well. Because one thing we don't want is her mood to go to a certain place where she starts taking out her frustrations at the wrong people or in the wrong places, if you know what I mean. But hey, let's continue because there's some more.
I know you're not sleeping well. And now that you're in my house, you're going to start taking care of yourself. You're going to start eating a little bit of something. I want you happy. Wrong. It is just hard. I know. I feel really bad for the position I'm in. And the boom, I bring 2 babies and myself to her house. And it hurts.
The most important thing that I have enjoyed the most about this season, in my opinion, arguably this may be the best season to date, to be honest with you. And that is watching the bond that these sisters and brothers have for the first time properly, without too much bickering, without too much, going back and forth at each other. Because right now we're seeing a family who are united against a greater good. One greater good is for all of them to be healthy. 2, the other greater good is to get Amy away from Michael, right? 3, also to make sure that Tammy doesn't hopefully relapse. Okay. Now, of course, obviously Amy here, she's obviously feeling bad about, being in Tammy's space, but also at the same time that I really love to see how Tammy's trying to make sure that Amy is doing the right thing for herself and her own health, saying that, hey man, listen, you're in my house, you got to eat, you got to do this and that. I know you're going for a bad time, but listen, we're not about to neglect certain things, and let ourselves lose ourselves. So I really like that energy that is coming off Tammy, to be honest with you. It's an energy that I guess for a long time, a lot of people didn't expect to ever see from Tammy, because if anything, it was always more Amy that would do the uplifting rather than Tammy. But now we're seeing a different side of Tammy, which has been very, very refreshing, if you ask me personally. But we continue.
Big sister needs help herself. No, Amy, we're all just really worried about you. I'm going out. Let's go. I can't do this. You can. You need to stop. Do it for him. Kiss it, kiss it, kiss it, kiss it, kiss it. Give me kiss. You're not gonna give it. I don't know how, but I've always had the effect on Amy to be able to make her laugh when she's really upset and crying.
They're in the restaurant. It's weird though, because they went for sushi, and they never had sushi before, so they were not sure what to order. I found that quite funny, to be fair. But either way though, they're in the restaurant. Gage is now acting up. There's even a point where Amy has to get up and promise, take him for a walk around the restaurant, chase him around to I guess to maybe help him burn some energy, or to let out whatever frustration he's going through. I'm not too sure, but it definitely is something that brought Amy to a breaking point where she was like, I'm done. I need to go home. I'm finished. And so crazy, the thing that I enjoyed about this scene was the way that Tammy was then able to de-escalate the situation, was able to then bring Amy back to earth, say, hey, no, we ain't doing that, chill, relax, we're good. But of course, instead of doing it in a way of telling her that, She decided to make jokes, make her laugh, and as Tammy said, she's always had this thing, you know, I guess she's always had this older sister role, isn't she? Because obviously she's the older one, of being able to make the younger one, you know, feel a certain type of way, which is fantastic. But now we're about to witness Amy really go through the emotions, or really letting out her emotions of, you know, the situation that has happened with her and Michael. Let's get it.
Hey, the computer. Give me Michael. Play your damn video games. Ow! You hit me. I'm sorry.
You know what though? Like, I recommend that more people do this, to be honest with you. You know, I feel like if more people went and done this, maybe it would decrease domestic violence, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? I don't mean to trick anyone by saying that, but I'm just saying, if people went and do these things when they're frustrated, this would be very, very good for people, in generally speaking. You don't have to be in a relationship, but generally speaking, I feel like this is one of those places that's probably worth going, but yeah.
Or like being collateral damage. I'm priceless, can't break me.
Long time. I didn't think anything of that was possible. I didn't think I was going to get married. I didn't think I was going to have kids. But that's something I wanted.
Let's just focus on that part. That's something that I wanted. She's speaking about how she's always wanted to have kids, always wanted to get married, and you know, those are things that generally started to happen. But now things are now going downhill. Now she also speaks about how she feels as if, well, she also speaks about all the efforts that she put in. One effort that she put in into having kids was weight loss surgery, as well as
babies. I'm the one that made my family a family. I'm the one that fought tooth and nail. It's falling apart, and I don't know where it all went wrong.
You know, that's a good question. Not knowing where it went wrong. I mean, I think it's quite simple and easy to kind of understand. I'm going to say it all went wrong because there's probably lack of communication between Amy and Michael, to be honest with you. So I think if you go back to the seasons before that, when we saw Michael always came across very quiet, very shy, very reserved, you know, and pretty much always did, you know, what he was required to do. And when I say that, what I mean is he was pretty much Tammy's chauffeur for those first 4 seasons that we saw them, right? He was always pushing Tammy everywhere. He's the one that always had to help her, you know, regardless of how much she weighed, all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I guess, to be honest, things obviously changed for Michael 100% once the boys were born. That's when things started to go really south. And I think for Michael, I think that with him, he was so codependent on Amy for such a long time because pretty much she was probably his best friend, probably his only friend. She was his rock. She was his life, you know. But I think if anything, while Amy's talking about how, you know, she never saw herself in this position, I reckon there's a part of Michael that probably never saw himself in a position where he would ever get married, where he would ever have kids. You know what I mean? I think maybe there's a potential chance where he thought that, you know, Amy was going to be his woman for the rest of his life, but also at the same time, he also probably felt like Amy was always going to make him the priority for as long as they live. But I think once the boys came and he became less of a priority, that's when he really started to show how he really felt. And the problem with this is that the whole time Amy was always expressing wanting to have kids, wanting to have a marriage and all that kind of stuff. I don't think Michael actually ever expressed that, hey, I actually don't want kids. Hey, what if we have kids and this happened? Hey, like, so if we have kids, am I still going to be a priority to you? Because a lot of relationships do break down after kids, because a lot of the times, you know, more or less than the most, men end up getting neglected by the partner, because usually when women become mothers, they start to dedicate pretty much the whole life to the child, and sometimes can then neglect the husband or the boyfriend, whatever, and then he'll start to feel as if he's not much of a priority. And I tell you this now, for a lot of men want to be your priority, but they want to be the number one. They don't want to compete with nobody, even with the kids. You know what I mean? They really don't for the most part, right? But obviously some can be like, listen, it's okay, it's cool, we can do it. Michael's probably one of those people that was 100%, you know, in my opinion, codependent on Amy, never wanted her to leave his side, because like we saw before, he never wanted to go out with her family or nothing like that, you know what I mean? Which was quite interesting to find out. So I think for Michael, if he had communicated how he's been really feeling, maybe things would have gone different for him and Amy. Because I think that's the issue, isn't it? Some people say that, well, Amy's the one that kind of force-fed this whole baby thing and da-da-da-da-da. Yes, she did obviously force-feed what she wanted, but Michael still had the ability to voice what he wanted too. And if he didn't voice what he wanted, but then that's his fault. And now we're in a position where they've got a divorce. And now these kids are grown up in a broken home, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I generally do believe that a lot of people that come from broken homes end up being stronger and having better characters than a lot of people that come from homes, you know what I mean? Because some people who actually come from homes that aren't broken usually come from homes where mum and dad actually hate each other but are still together anyway, and therefore they set a bad role model example, and then their kids end up going off and marrying someone that they hate too. You know what I mean? But obviously it's subjective based on, you know, obviously, yeah, it's subjective, but yeah, I'm living proof. But we continue.
I feel like everything has gotten worse in the family since I left, and now it's gotten even worse now that I'm back. I just feel really useless. I mean, you help me with the boys, you help me with make sure I'm eating and drinking and stuff.
I feel a lot better now that I feel like some of my built-up anger has gone away. How do you feel?
It helped me helping you. I personally think now you're more than ready to see the lawyer and face the court and face Michael.
All right, boom. So I like the fact that obviously Tammy's trying to do what she can to make sure that Amy is ready, is strong enough to be able to face Michael, face the court, which is fantastic, you know what I mean? That's what I like about their bond this season. But on that note though, I am going to make another video of something else that happened down in this episode, obviously involving Amy and Michael, and please stay tuned for that one, because trust me when I tell you, you're going to want to see that one, because boy, I mean, that one really screamed a lot of things. But with that being said though, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.